You know what always blows my mind when I rewatch How I Met Your Mother? The total, masterfully sold illusion of Barney Stinson's success. We're so used to seeing him as this alpha male in a $5,000 suit that we stopped paying attention to the actual math. But if you sit down and honestly break the whole picture apart, a pretty terrifying reality opens up. And that's exactly what Marshall Erickson did in the episode Right Place, Right Time. When Barney was gearing up to sleep with his 200th woman, Marshall, with his obsessive love of statistics, walked up to a whiteboard and calculated his buddy's actual success rate. No guesses, no fluff, just cold, brutal calculation of his win-to-attempt ratio over 10 years. The number was devastating. 1.2%. 1 freaking percent. So, out of every 100 attempts to pick someone up, with the astronaut costumes, the fake websites, the elaborate props, the fake amnesia, he scores 1 or 2 times. The other 98 tries end in slaps, drinks thrown in his face, insults, and total humiliation. And that's when it hit me. We almost never see those failures. Sitcoms as a genre only feed us the highlight reel. Just those rare nights when this rickety, insane machine actually managed to crank into gear. They show us the magic and carefully hide the thousands of bad takes off camera. So I started thinking, how many times across the entire series did the legendary Playbook actually genuinely work the way Barney drew it up? Not the lazy, have you met Ted, or some throwaway barstool line, but those obsessive, theatrical black ops with fake names, rented props, and hired actors. And when I started really digging in, the hair on the back of my neck stood up. The Playbook worked catastrophically rarely, but when it did work, one thing became crystal clear. This isn't a story about sex. This is a story about a deeply broken man building himself a fortress. A solid, impenetrable wall of total deception so nobody could ever get close enough to see the real him and abandon him the way his father once did. Every time another wild scheme worked, Barney didn't win a one-night stand. He won another day where he wasn't truly rejected, because there was nobody to reject. They weren't sleeping with Barney Stinson. They were sleeping with his mask. This whole legend of the genius womanizer is actually a cry for help from a little boy whose dad never showed up to his birthday party, while his mom, Loretta, lied to him that the patrolman mailman just didn't deliver the invitations. So let's walk through those rare moments when Barney's Playbook actually worked. And in every single one of them, there's a detail buried inside that will completely flip the way you see this cozy little sitcom forever. The most telling and chilling case is the Lorenzo von Matterhorn play, the scene that honestly made me reassess Barney Stinson as a character entirely. Quick recap, he builds an entire digital empire out of thin air. This isn't just a fake web page. This is an artificially manufactured ecosystem, top-shelf search engine manipulation. Barney registers a network of interconnected domains. There's BigBusinessJournal.com, where Lorenzo is described as a mysterious billionaire recluse and financial genius. A fake medical journal called Extremities Quarterly, where serious doctors write that surgery to reduce Lorenzo's package is impossible because the organ is abnormally large. A hot air balloon enthusiast's club site documenting his journeys across Europe by balloon. And finally, the anchor domain, LorenzoVonMatterhorn.com, pulling all this surreal nonsense together into one neat portfolio. The play works flawlessly. Barney sits down in McLaren's, drops the line, "My name is Lorenzo von Matterhorn," that's spelled with 2 T's, and walks away on purpose. She predictably grabs her phone, Googles the name, and the entire first page of results is 100% stuffed with confirmations of his status. Rich, eccentric traveler with a charming little medical tragedy in his pants. 15 minutes later, they're leaving together. The audience laughs at how creative it is. But let's look at the actual anatomy of this con in the real world. Barney didn't whip this up on the back of a napkin in the bar bathroom. To dominate the first page of search results for a unique query, he planned the legend in advance. He registered the domains. He paid for hosting. He hired web developers, designers, copywriters. He went deep on search engine optimization. That's months of prep work and real money. Thousands of dollars torched before he even picked a target. Who in their right mind drops that kind of investment for a one-night stand? This is where the show's lore drops in the missing puzzle piece. What does Barney do for a living? For the longest time, it was a mystery, until we got the breakdown of his job title, the acronym PLEASE. which stands for Provide Legal Exculpation and Sign Everything. He gets enormous bonuses for slapping his signature on flat-out criminal, illegal documents at Goliath National Bank. Every single second, he's risking spending the rest of his life in federal prison. Why does he do it? All these years, he's been working as an FBI informant to one day take down his boss, Greg. Yeah, that corporate scumbag Greg who back in '98 stole the love of naive hippie Barney's life, Shannon. Just sit with that level of obsession for a second. Barney sells his signature and his freedom, makes filthy millions, smiles for years at a man he hates with every fiber of his being, and works as a double agent. And a huge chunk of that bloody bank money gets funneled into bankrolling his giant facade, paying for servers, buying suits, renting penthouses, hiring actors for the Playbook. The Lorenzo play worked because Barney literally paid for that artificial reality. This isn't pickup artistry. This is a venture capital investment in his own isolation. Look at how surgically these websites hit psychological triggers. The Business Journal hits the need for safety and status. The Hot Air Balloon Club promises romance and adventure. And the Medical Journal triggers both primal sexual interest and sympathy for his condition all at once. Barney isn't trying to win a woman over with real, human conversation. He's uploading a pre-packaged, algorithmically optimized marketing kit straight into her brain so her own psyche makes the call for her. How much does a person have to hate and fear his own vulnerability to build a digital fence like that? If Lorenzo is scary because of the budget, the scuba diver play exposes how Barney treats the people closest to him. And it makes you genuinely uncomfortable. The scene plays out like a ridiculous farce. Barney shows up at the bar in full neoprene wetsuit, mask, oxygen tank, flippers, the works. How did we get here? A little earlier, Lily, the self-appointed moral compass of the group, finds out about Barney's manipulations. Lily is furious. She steals the Playbook and threatens to upload it online to protect the women of New York forever. And Barney, instead of grabbing the book back by force, suddenly cracks. He pulls off the scuba mask and tells Lily, "You're right, I'm tired, I'm broken." He delivers this gut-wrenching monologue about how badly he's hurting from his breakup with Robin, about the black hole inside him, and how all these ridiculous costumes are just a pathetic attempt to numb the pain. And he cries. Lily, sweet, empathetic, hyper-protective Lily, melts immediately. Her switch flips from anger to rescue mode. She feels real, genuine sympathy for him. Lily walks over to a cute girl at the bar herself and says, "Look, this guy in the scuba suit looks like an idiot, but he's actually really vulnerable, sweet, and he just had his heart broken. Please give him a chance." The girl, seeing the sincerity in her friend's eyes, agrees. And only after they leave does the gang find a Playbook page taped under the table. On it, the plan is laid out step by step. Step 1, tick off Lily so badly she steals the book. Step 2, put on the costume and grab attention. Step 3, pull at her heartstrings and squeeze out a tear. Step 4, wait until your best friends, drowning in guilt, talk a woman into sleeping with you themselves. Barney didn't trick the stranger at the bar. The stranger was just a prop. He calculated the behavior and emotions of his best friend with 100% accuracy. He used Lily's genuine empathy as a cheap lockpick into someone else's trust. He knows her insecurities and her triggers so deeply that he can model every decision she makes in advance. Inside Barney's head, his friends are nothing but chess pieces. And when he needs them, he moves them across the board without thinking about ethics for even a second. The scuba diver was a training ground. Barney was checking whether he could conduct his inner circle blind. Once he confirmed he could, he started preparing the biggest and most destructive operation of his life, the Robin play. This op stretched over several months and ate up half of season 8. I rewatched these episodes and kept thinking, this isn't a plan to win a woman over at all. This is a step-by-step manual for psychological abuse and full-blown gaslighting. When you actually break the plan down, it gets disturbing. Step 1, admit to yourself that you still love her. Step 2, make a clumsy drunken pass and intentionally get rejected. Step 3, tell her the two of you will never work and slam the door shut. The goal of this stage is to pull the rug out from under her and artificially trigger sharp panic over being abandoned. Robin has been terrified of being abandoned since childhood. It's her core trauma. Barney aims right at it. Step 4, wait until she starts losing her mind. Then, the actual torture begins. Step 5, Barney recruits Patrice. Patrice is Robin's co-worker, the one Robin hates with a primal, irrational rage, and Barney doesn't pick her by accident. Patrice is Robin's exact opposite. She's warm, sincere, constantly going in for hugs, radiating care. Barney starts fake dating her and intentionally parades this hyper-affectionate woman around right next to him. Why? So Robin watches them and tears herself apart every single day thinking, maybe the problem is me? Maybe I'm a cold witch? Maybe my inability to do normal emotions is some kind of defect that's going to leave me dying alone? It's a brutal sniper shot at the victim's self-esteem. Moving on. Step 8. Wait for Robin to break into your apartment to steal the playbook. How did he know when she'd show up? He was watching her through hidden cameras in his apartment. By the way, Barney isn't squeamish about full surveillance at all. In other episodes, he flat out admits to installing surveillance cameras in Marshall and Lily's apartment too. The man literally built a maximum security prison around his friends. Step 10. Burn the playbook in front of Patrice. Robin sits in the closet, watches the book burn in the trash can and thinks, oh my god, he destroyed his life's work for love. And you know what's the most disgusting part? Later, Barney admits that he only burned a fake, a ceremonial copy in a leather binding with gold lettering, custom ordered just for the show. The real playbook was sitting safe in his hiding spot, untouched. Even in his moment of greatest redemption, he was still lying. Step 12. Leak fake engagement plans to Ted. Barney turns Ted into a pawn. If Ted silently takes Robin to the gala opening of his building, that means he still selfishly wants her for himself. If Ted tells Robin the truth and sends her to the rooftop to stop the wedding, that means Ted is breaking and giving his blessing. Barney forces his best friend through the meat grinder of an impossible moral choice just to serve his plan. And here's the finale. Robin runs up to the rooftop of worldwide news. She sees the candles, the rose petals, and the final page of the playbook with all 16 steps written out. She reads them. She is furious. She screams that he's a psychopath, that he manipulated her mind for months, that she will never be able to trust him again. And then Barney asks her to turn the page. On the back it says, hope she says yes. He drops to one knee, and she says yes. For a long time, fans saw this as the peak of romance. But if you mute the laugh track, the picture gets terrifying. Robin Scherbatsky, a strong, independent woman, a cynical journalist, basically admits that her love wouldn't have worked without months of psychological warfare. Barney literally had to drive her into nervous exhaustion, paranoia, and despair to get her to crack and agree to marry him. This isn't a story of great love. It's Stockholm Syndrome, and the show's creators were brutally honest with us. In season 9, we find out that 3 years later, this marriage falls apart spectacularly. A foundation built on lies, gaslighting, and manipulation couldn't survive the routine of real life. The plan worked perfectly. The marriage didn't. If we step down from the global manipulations to the everyday stuff, the one-shot playbook plays expose another nasty detail in this machine. Barney often uses straight-up idiotic lies. Take the secret NASA play. Barney convinces a girl that he works for a secret space agency that flies to a secret moon. Why lie this absurdly? Because it works like a spam filter. The lie is engineered to instantly weed out any woman with a single drop of critical thinking. If a girl at the bar nods along to a story about a secret moon, Barney has a guarantee that he doesn't have to try anymore. Her critical thinking is dead. It's aggressive social sorting. But what's actually scary is how easily Barney throws the people around him under the bus. Take the don't drink that play. The premise is genius. Barney walks up to a girl at the bar, grabs her drink, and worriedly says, "Don't drink that. I just saw someone slip a pill into your glass." In 1 second, he's her knight in shining armor. But look at the mechanics of this play. When the freaked out girl asks, "Who did it?" the playbook's advice is to just point at any random guy in the bar, or even at your own friend. Do you get the level of how messed up that is? Just to drag a woman home for one night, Barney is willing to accuse an innocent person of trying to roofie a woman. In real life, that random guy, or Ted Mosby for that matter, could get jumped by bouncers, beaten up by the girl's friends, or arrested by the cops with the very real possibility of jail time. Barney destroys a stranger's life without blinking, just to keep the legend of his fake persona intact. In moments like this, the comedy mask falls completely off, exposing a clinical sociopath. He pulls the same vulture move in the Ted Mosby play. Barney puts on a flannel shirt, introduces himself as his best friend, and in this pitiful voice tells women he was left at the altar. He's not just stealing a name, he's stealing a real bleeding wound from his friend, who was actually left at the altar by his bride, and converting it into a lockpick for other women's bedrooms. Because of this, the women he conned created a website called tedmosbasajerk.com, and the real Ted kept getting slapped on the street. And you know what's the most brutal part? Barney has his own Shannon. He has his own real trauma as an abandoned guy, but he never uses his own pain because his pain is real and still burns from the inside. Touching it is scary. He might actually start crying. Using a friend's gutted tragedy is completely safe. Why did any of this even work? Future Ted once said, "The secret to dating is confidence." But for Barney, that absolute, overwhelming confidence didn't live inside him. It lived inside his characters. The real Barney Stinson is a crying 23-year-old hippie in a hand-knit sweater, singing weepy songs on a synthesizer, begging Shannon to come back. When corporate boss Greg humiliated him, Barney committed psychological suicide. He cut his hair, bought an expensive suit, copied the mannerisms of the man who destroyed his life, and turned into that monster himself. The suit, for Barney, isn't clothing. It's Kevlar armor. When he yells, "Suit up!" he's calling on you to put on an invincible identity. The plays work because of the halo effect. If a guy looks expensive and delivers an outrageous lie with predatory, ironclad calm, the average person's brain folds and takes it as truth. The scuba diver play didn't work because of the flippers. It worked because Barney was crying in front of Lily for real. His heart actually is broken, just on a much bigger, lifelong scale, going all the way back to childhood. The Playbook gave him a legal channel to release that bottled-up pain in measured doses. That's exactly why the episode about the yips puts everything in its place. The yips in athletes is when you suddenly forget how to do something you've done 1,000 times. It happens to Barney when he learns the truth about his first sexual experience with his mom's friend Rhonda. His brother James just paid Rhonda to lie to Virgin Barney and tell him he was a sex god. It was charity out of pity. The second the foundation of his masculinity collapses, all of Barney collapses. The Playbook stops working. He puts on a shapeless gray hoodie, slumps his shoulders, loses all his charisma, and asks Ted at a party with this haunted look, "Ted, I sounded okay, right? That was okay, right?" In that moment, the terrified little boy peeks out from under the super seducer's armor, desperately fishing for outside approval. The Playbook only worked as long as Barney could keep lying to himself. So where did this habit of completely replacing reality come from? Simple. Loretta Stinson. Barney's mom fed him premium-grade lies his whole life to protect him from pain. Nobody showed up to your birthday? The mailman lost the invitations. You got cut from the basketball team? It's because you played too well and it wasn't fair to the others. Who's your real dad? The host of a TV show. Barney grew up in a world where reality was always lovingly draped in convenient lies. The Playbook is the logical application of his mother's methods to harsh adult life. But there's a fan theory that makes the story even darker. The show is Ted Mosby narrating to his kids in 2030. And Ted is a textbook unreliable narrator. The theory goes, the Playbook, in the demonic form we know it, is largely an exaggeration on Ted's part. Notice how the book looks on screen. The Playbook is written in perfect calligraphy. And while Barney can write neatly, who in the gang is the actual snobby aesthete obsessed with parchment and fonts? Ted Mosby, the man who once got mistaken for being gay because of his fancy handwriting on wedding invitations. Why would Ted invent or exaggerate any of this? Out of plain, decades-long jealousy. Ted spent 10 years searching for love, playing the nice guy and constantly face-planting. Meanwhile, Barney was taking home anyone he wanted with a snap of his fingers. Telling the story to his kids, Ted intentionally demonizes his friend. He turns Barney into a cartoon villain and the women into hopeless idiots who believe in secret moons, just to take the air out of his successes. But the main thing is, Ted needs an airtight alibi for the finale. He needs to justify the fact that he, an aging widower, is about to walk up to Aunt Robin's window holding a blue French horn. He needs his kids to say, "Yeah, that guy was a manipulator and an abuser. Their marriage was always going to fall apart. But you, Dad, you're a good one. Go to her." If that's the case, then the Playbook is half projection and jealousy that rewrote a friend's life story. But even if you toss the theories and take the show at 100% face value every time another one of Barney's plays worked, it wasn't a victory for some grown-up alpha male. It was a tiny victory for that same little boy whose father erased him from reality. Remember the heartbreaking scene from the episode Legend Daddy, where Barney is standing outside the house of his real father, Jerry, the man who turned out to be not a rock star, but a boring driving instructor with a wife and a teenage son with a basketball hoop hanging over the garage. Barney grabs a sledgehammer, tries to rip the hoop out of the asphalt, cries and screams at his own dad. If you were going to be a regular, boring suburban dad, why couldn't you have been one for me? Every time the plan with the websites pulled a girl out of the bar, that broken kid got a microdose of confirmation that he was worthy of attention. The scuba diver play worked. The kid was checking whether he could control people so they wouldn't leave him. Robin said yes, the kid was permanently chaining a person to himself with a web of manipulation. Every checkmark in the playbook was just another layer of Kevlar on his damaged soul. Until the very final scene of the series, when Barney holds Ellie, his newborn daughter, in his arms. He looks at this tiny bundle and he realizes something terrifying, but freeing. You cannot sell this person a Lorenzo von Matterhorn website. You cannot fool a baby with cheap parlor tricks. And most importantly, a baby cannot leave you. He says to her, "You are the love of my life. Everything I have and everything I am is yours, forever." Only in that second, in a sterile delivery room, does the playbook finally turn into useless trash. The only plan that actually worked and brought Barney any real healing was a plan he didn't write a single line of. The script was written by life itself. And for that 1 minute of catharsis, we had to spend 9 years watching an unbelievably smart, infinitely talented, but deeply broken man burn through millions of dollars and years of his life just to feel nothing. We laughed at his jokes, waited for his next trick, and yelled, "Legendary," never noticing that the whole time we were reading a clinical case file. Behind every laugh track, the same silent scene was always hiding. A crying little boy, holding on for dear life to the basketball hoop of someone else's garage.